People are having a lot of problems with this Little Mermaid situation. I don't know what everything is going on with it because I truly, 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 my core, from the bottom of my heart, I do not care. I absolutely do not care what people think about the Little Mermaid. Okay, because let's be honest, if it's anything like Disney's other content stuff, it's going to be garbage. However, I'm going to give out an olive branch to all my haters who are hating on who's hating on the Little Mermaid being black. My suggestion is that we give you a couple of characters that you will probably be okay with. So here's my list of certain things that we think you might like. I'm going to show you a couple of pictures that I think that we may be able to see eye to eye in. So maybe it's if you we turn a white character black. What if we turn a black character white? Would you be okay with Ryan Gosling playing um the Dark Knight? I'm sorry, not the Dark Knight. The Black Panther. Are you okay with that? Most people say, listen, I'm not gonna lie to you. That looks sideways kind of cool. Like I would actually watch something like that. I would watch that. Or maybe you'd be more interested in something that maybe we both can see eye to eye in. Maybe Idris Alba playing 007. Maybe that's something that you may be interested in the seeing. I actually think that that'd be kind of cool. That'd be fire. Um, but maybe it's the idea that it's just ridiculous. Like maybe it's ridiculous. Maybe I'm not seeing it the way you're seeing it. Maybe I'm seeing it from a perspective that doesn't make sense. Okay, well, maybe we can go. How ridiculous is it going to be? How ridiculous can we make this be? Could Ryan Howard be Batman? Terrence Howard, not Ryan Howard. Can Terrence Howard be Batman? The Batman. It's just kind of ridiculous, right? The links that people are going through over just anger over this whole situation. So here's the thing. I think we should come to a conclusion, and I have the perfect character to play the perfect character. I have the perfect actor to play the perfect character for you. And I think once you see it my way, you'll be open to like, okay, so maybe the idea is because we took a cartoon character, someone from a childhood from your cartoon, and we made her a black character. So maybe we should do that again. And so I think the best character that we can think of to do this would be uh He-Man. Terry Crews as He-Man. I don't know. Maybe you like it. Who knows? This is Epic Thoughts. Oh my gosh. Welcome to Epic Thoughts. I'm your host, Rohmon. Thanks for tuning in. I know this is for my live cats. My live cats, this is kind of late in the evening. But again, it's the goal is to be consistent. That is the goal. So forgive me for being a little bit late today, but I needed to I was trying to get one of my homies to get on the show. It's a matter of being consistent. And so I want to make sure we do something for you, give you something every Tuesday evening and something that we can continue to keep putting out for people to watch. So again, welcome to Epic Thoughts. I'm your host, Rohmon, CEO of Heritage Park Productions. This is a great day. It's a great day. And it's a great day, not for any purpose, but we are alive and we have our health and we are kicking and our families are doing well. I hope your family's doing well. I hope you're being blessed and highly favored in the Lord. I have not a lot of beef things to go around. I just want to share some things that have been dear to my heart for the last, I don't know, couple of months, specifically about just things going on in general. And I hope that you're doing well. I hope you're doing fantastic. If you are not, then stay tuned, man. Hopefully you feel well after the show. Who knows? First things first, there's some rumors going, not rumors, but there's some things that I want to announce. The main thing I want to announce is that I have now been put in as president of Hope Recording Studios, Hope Recovery Center, and Hope Studios. So it's now Hope is now part of the Heritage Park family. clap it at one time. But Hope is now part of the Heritage Park family, and we have now taken over the. It is a 501(c)(3), but we are doing our best to bring that back in. And it's been a challenge for me. It's been a challenge for me mentally and structurally, into kind of figuring out what's my balance now. At the same time, I am doing a new album. I'm doing a new album called The Morning. It's probably going to be done. I would like for it to be done recording by the end of the year, but we'll see. Tonight's one of those nights where I'll be here recording and stuff like that. But it's going to be a pretty cool album, actually. It's going to be, I'm not going to tell you it's my best album, and I'm not going to tell you it's going to be the most amazing album I've ever made. But I will tell you this much: it's going to be a pretty cool album. It's going to be pretty cool. And there's a lot of cool stuff in it that I haven't done before. So that's cool. And we're working on another television show, along with continue working with Superficially Deep. So we have a lot of stuff going on here at Heritage Park, and now that we've got Hope to the mix, it's just going to get that much better. There's a lot of things going on, and so I'm really excited about it. Some things I wanted to share, though. I was listening to my homie's new podcast, and if you haven't, you don't know anything about it. It's called I can't. I already messed it up already. But it's Kyle Hill and Kyle McCary. I don't want to get his name wrong. But they had a phenomenal podcast, and I'm giving them a little shout out now because their podcast is going to take over the world. I really think it is. It's that dope. It's that good. And I'm just really surprised by what they were able to bring and some of the things that they were saying. And there's like, I watched Pinocchio 2 weeks ago. I take that back. I tried to watch Pinocchio 2 weeks ago. I really, really tried. I had a hard time getting through it. I could not sit through this movie. It was I couldn't even tell you how it ended. I remember falling asleep around the time Pinocchio was trying to go to school. That early in the film. I could tell from jump this wasn't Disney's best work. I'm really exhausted with the decisions that Disney has made as a corporation. I'm really exhausted with the decisions that Disney has made as a studio, even Marvel to an extent. Like the She-Hulk series, I felt like the reason I'm bringing it up is, so stick with me. There's a reason I'm bringing it up. I felt like the She-Hulk series was like not the best. It was blah. It was like a good opportunity that they had, and I feel like they screwed the pooch on it. And it was just missed opportunities all along, all across the board. And with that being said, they're becoming a little bit more woke than most people realize. And here's the thing about the woke culture, right? Here's woke culture in a nutshell. It's dying out, man. People are tired of wokeness. Like, put us back to sleep. No, people are tired of wokeness and they want real, right? And people think woke is real. Woke is not real. Woke is fake. Like woke is stupid. Okay, it's not going to last you very long, and I think people are tired of that. I'm tired. I think people are tired of going to the movies and find out that their favorite film that they want to watch, that they've been waiting all year watch, goes political. People are afraid. People are tired of Star Wars being political, or Marvel being political. People don't want that no more. I think people want real. And so I want to encourage you, if you're one of those people, I want to encourage you to not give up the fight, but change the narrative, right? We don't have to, which is weird because we grew up on Disney, right? And let's be real, man. Disney's done some way out stuff in the past, right? You remember the Lion King fiasco, or the cartoon Little Mermaid fiasco, or the Beauty and the Beast fiasco. There were moments in those cartoons where they were going left on some issues, and I don't mean politically left. I mean left in the slang term. Like they tipped the balance in one direction that they shouldn't have gone. So that it's not just recently. Disney has done some stuff that's been weird, and so but people are generally, they're tired of the wokeness. They're just tired of it. We're not getting entertained, and nobody's paying money to go to a film to get politically preached at, right? No one's going to movies to see that. Nobody wants to. Nobody cares about it anymore. and it's draining, and you're opening the door. Like I feel like the extreme left is losing their own battle because now they're going to virtual signal to themselves, and that's going to be a massive letdown on all kind of proportions. My point is this, and this is kind of a selfish conversation because I'm just going to put myself out there. I've now been instructed in charge of the recovery center here in Corona, California, which is along comes with a studio. There is a studio. We're in a studio. We can do music. We do ADR. We do podcasting. Now I do other people's podcasts here, and recording my new album. I can record it here. Not my whole album's not going to be recorded here. I actually have an engineering team for about half the record because there's some different sounds I'm going to try that I need other people's ears for. I say all that to say there are a lot of people out there who have productions, um, record companies on an indie level that follow the beliefs of a lot of other people. We can support them. Like you think that if people who I love it when people say, "Well, I don't vote." Okay, let me explain something to you real quick. Um, you vote every day. You vote every day. You just don't vote with the pen and the pad. You vote with your dollar, right? So don't get me wrong. I understand what you're saying. I don't vote in political things. I get that. But you do. You vote every day. You vote with your money. You vote with your dollar. You get to decide what company stays in business by what you put your dollar into, right? So every day you go to Starbucks and you buy a drink, right? You just gave a vote to Starbucks to ensure that Starbucks stays open tomorrow, right? So every time I go, because I go to Starbucks, so every time I go and I get my Americano, I put a dollar in that register or transaction it digitally, whatever you do. You're guaranteeing, you are betting, you are putting a vote in saying, I take a stand with this company and I want them to be here tomorrow. Okay. Every time you buy Dasani water over Aquafina water, you're saying, listen, my vote is that I'm voting that Dasani water is better than Aquafina. So every time you send your dollar in somewhere, every time you pay money to something, you're voting to let them know, hey, I'm still with you. I'm standing with you. I want you here tomorrow, and I want you here for the long run. So with that being said, if we are tired of the woke left, we need to stop voting for them. And I'm not talking politically, okay? I'm talking with our dollar. We need to if Disney when it gets to the point where I'm absolutely when I'm absolutely done with Disney, when I'm absolutely done, and I'm like, dude, there's nothing else you have to offer me. I'm going to stop paying for Disney Plus. Right now, I'm going to be honest with you, I can't do that. They got Darkwing Duck, and Darkwing Duck is a good watch when you have nothing to do. Okay, I don't. If you are if you're under the age of 40, you have or maybe 35, you have no idea what I'm talking about. But go to Disney Plus and check in Darkwing Duck, probably one of them overrated series, underrated, excuse me, one of the most underrated cartoon series on Disney Plus next to Gargoyles. I haven't even gotten to Gargoyles yet, but those are two Disney cartoons that have been completely overlooked that in my opinion were probably ahead of their time. Darkwing Duck and Gargoyles. Um and so it's awesome to see them up there. It's also awesome to see them up there. So there's connections to my childhood still connected to Disney Plus. But when it gets to the point where I'm absolutely don't need it, and they've frustrated me to that point, then I'll stop giving them my $7.99, which I heard goes up to $11.99 in January of this year that that the price is going up to get ad free. But but we don't have to. That's the key. We don't have to. We don't have to pay the money to go to Disney. We don't have to pay the extra money to get in the streaming platform. We don't have to go to their parks. We don't have to wear their t-shirts. We don't have to listen to their radio. We don't do any of that. So we can make a decision. And people are like, well, I do make that decision. But there's many other things out there that I personally believe that need to get to the masses because it's doing a great, great, great job. For example, I don't know. I keep talking about it on the show. I would love to do an interview with this guy, the guy who wrote and produced The Chosen. Now, I don't know if anybody knows what I'm talking about, but there's a thing called The Chosen. It's on social. It's online. It's the story of Jesus, but it's told so clean. It's so clean. Now they're doing a series. They're doing a cartoon series about David. I'm trying to find it real quick. The Chosen. Angel Studios. Angel Studios is the company that puts them on. They live stream these things, and they're now working on season 2 of The Chosen. It's such a the way they tell this story. I can't dispute how well it is. Right? It's that well. It's that well done. And now they're doing a new series about. They're doing a cartoon about the life of David, which is very intriguing. Now, I I don't need to raise money for them because they are really, really good at raising money. They the money that it shows, what they have been able to do has been great. But at the end of the day, they do bring in like 7, 6, 7 million dollars to in just revenue from, not even revenue, because people are not paying to watch it. You can watch it for free. You can watch it after you watch the show today. You can watch The Chosen and you can binge watch it. It's great. Maybe I'll put the link on here on Epic Thoughts so you can watch it. It's that good. It's it's amazing and they do it for free. But they we need money to create content like this. And there's for every Angel Studios, there's probably 100 other studios that don't have the goofy weird Christian movie. Like I went to go see a movie. I went to go see the Honk If You Love Jesus, Save Your Soul movie, and they had a commercial for a trailer for a Christian movie called Run the Bases. And of course, I don't understand why we had to make Christian movies based around sports. It's the weirdest thing. Like you're giving like this idea like, yo, my dad's needs help and there's a coach down his luck and he teaches a team to believe in God and now they hit homers. Like that story is so played out. Like I've seen it so many times. So I saw the commercial and I felt like I've seen this before. It was called Facing the Giants or Jumping Over Our Giants or Fighting Our Troubles in the Ring. Like we do this to sport movies and sometimes some of our faith-based movies are just so goofy. I'm just gonna be honest. There's some that I was intrigued. I saw a trailer today that had me intrigued. It was on Amazon Prime Video. It was called Unlawfully Wed or something like that. It was about a pastor that fell in love with a divorced woman and they started dating. And it was a pretty well done comedy. I've seen another one called oh, oh God. It was a spy movie. It was a spy comedy where a guy people thought that this guy was he was telling people he's a sleeper agent. It was called Sleeper Agent. He was telling people he was a sleeper agent and nobody believed him. They were like, "Yeah, okay, you're clumsy. You're too clumsy." And then opportunity came that he actually was a sleeper agent, but it was almost like Get Smart met the Bible. And it was literally funny. It was funny. I've seen there's a several ones. I don't know if you have one in the comment, you can put it in the comment what your favorite Christian film is. I think my ultimate favorite Christian film has to be To Save a Life was pretty good. To Save a Life was pretty good. I thought that was good. I thought that Mom's Night Out was pretty funny. Mom's Night Out was pretty funny. It was goofy, but it was one of those movies where you ever had something where everyone else didn't like, but you were like, I'm down. I'm here for it. That's what it was. But I'm saying all that to say there's creators out there, not just Heritage Park, but there are creators out there that are, that are trying to make a difference and not be goofy. Like I stand behind Heritage Park content. Maybe it's not the best quality, but I stand behind it from the fact that we're not goofy, we're not weird. We don't kick 55-yard field goals with the power of the Holy Ghost. Like, and I'm not saying that stuff doesn't exist, right? I'm not saying that stuff doesn't exist, but there's all kind of ways that you could share the gospel with people that we haven't even scratched the surface on. So I'm saying instead of complaining about what's going on or what the other side is doing. And we can't keep complaining about the other side if we're not going to do nothing to combat or do something better or do something in response to what the other side is doing. It just doesn't make sense in the long run. So, um, I want to put that out there to make you aware, make people aware that we don't have to live life like we don't have to do what everybody doing and we don't have to keep complaining about stuff. I think the key to life right now is to not complain. Just understand stuff happens for a reason and we don't have to complain about everything. We don't have to make We don't have to cancel everybody. Like, again, we vote with our dollars, right? So if we're unhappy with a comedian, we just don't buy their tickets. That's how we hurt them. Um, it shouldn't stop them from being there, right? There's actually a very strong parable in the Bible. And I'll share it since we're here. There's a parable in the Bible, the apostle. I don't think I've seen the apostle. I'll have to look that one up, KJ, the apostle. I have to look that one up. It sounds interesting already, though. I uh, maybe I can get it on HPTV. There's some other ones on HPTV that are pretty good. If you watch HPTV, there's some interesting ones. Sleeper Agent is on HPTV, so you should probably watch it. It's pretty funny. Um, but there's a parable in the Bible about the uh, it just comes to me right now, so I'm going to jack it up. But it's a parable of the wheat and the tares, and the story basically goes of a farmer has his workers, and his workers are on the field. They're tending to the fields, and they planted wheat in the fields. And then, while one night while they were asleep, the enemy come and they planted tares, which is like weeds, in the same field amongst the wheat. And when the harvest came, they started to notice that the wheat and the weeds were growing together. And the workers wanted to go and they wanted to pull the weeds out. And the owner of the land told them not to do it because, in the process of pulling the weed, they would also pull out some of the wheat. Well, the tares, we'll call them tares. Pulling out the tares, you'll actually pull out some of the wheat. So he says, "Wait, we will let them grow." The scripture says that Jesus tells them, "Let them grow together. Let them grow together, and then when the harvester comes, he will bind up the tares and he'll bind up the wheat and he'll bind up the tares and throws them to the fire, and the wheat he will separate. He will wait. He will pull them all together and he'll separate wheat and tares." And I read that. I find that um, parable very profound, because the reason why that parable is profound in my mind is because we live in a time where we want to pull up all the weeds, right? And we have no concept of what is wheat, what is the tear, and what is the wheat. For example, I saw this very well done video, and it messed my head up. It was a dude for about 7 minutes saying, "Oh," and it posted like another minister fallen or another mega church minister exposed. And he had about a couple thousand people get on his live, and he was waiting for more people to get on. And he says, "Man, I got this is just gonna be crazy. This is crazy." And people were just like foaming at the mouth, like another one's fallen, another minister has fallen. Wow, another mega church has fallen, all this other stuff. And then at the end of the whole 7 minutes, he says, "Isn't it interesting that we got so excited to hear about a mega church falling? When do we get to the point where," and this is, and I'm the world is going to hate us regardless. That's the Bible says that the world hates us. The Bible says the world is going to hate you. The Bible says that we are crucified with Christ. So that means we're going to be crucified with, just like he was. And again, on the side note, Jesus was crucified by church folks. So if your hate's going to come from both ways, basically. Um, you actually may find situations where people in the world are nicer to you than church folk. But that's just another conversation. That's just another conversation itself. But anyways, um, the people were so excited to hear what megachurch pastor fell this time. And I've always been of the kind, and last time we did Epic Thoughts, last time I really had some harsh words to say about Matt Chandler, but in a positive aspect, because I don't feel like he did anything wrong to step down. I think he should have kept his place in the pulpit and kept preaching. But again, I'm Ramon. Nobody listens to what I gotta say from that perspective. But that was just my opinion. I feel like there should always be a way of repentance and restoration that people need to do towards their ministers. If they believed in them so much, let's find a way to restore them and bring them back to hope. People are really mad Carl Lentz is out there preaching again. He eventually he needs to, because if he finds God after all the stuff that he went through and all the stuff that he's done, and he's fully repented and found Christ and restoration, don't you think that it'd be important to hear his journey? Don't you think people would need to hear that journey? Heck yeah. Heck yeah, we don't need perfect pastors, because first of all, there is no perfect pastor. Why would you want your pastor to be perfect? Because then you won't be able to match up to that pastor. Then anything that pastor says you can't hold a finger to, right? um, we should be praying for those who struggle. We should be praying for those who have problems and their shortcomings, and they have things going on in their lives that are not the greatest, and they miss the mark on some things. We should be more of a community. I think the church has missed it when we're talking about different things. I think we've missed it on community. We're so focused on the 100 people that go to our building that we don't think about the other people that have a building that are also brothers and sisters of Christ. It's just appalling because we can't sit here and keep complaining about Netflix making movies that don't appease Christian values, but yet at the same time we don't support young brothers and sisters who are trying to create stuff with Christian values. It doesn't make no sense. See, look, the secular world is funny because I as a hip hop artist, and I say that lightly, even though somebody told me one day, said, "Doug, you need to tell people you're a hip hop artist because you are an artist. You may be an old artist, but you're an artist." Um, I do remember recall being recalled. It was very interesting that there was a season in my life where my biggest shows were secular shows. Like I'd actually get paid to do secular shows. So I was doing this secular show in San Diego. Then I would do another one in Orange County. And then Riverside, I do a show in San Bernardino. I was doing all these little shows that weren't Christian based, but I was looking for gigs because I needed to work and I needed to eat. And people were opening doors and letting me, to perform. This was way back in the day, but I was able to perform, and I remembered that the world liked it. They liked the music. Like I had people come talk to me after every show. I was able to talk to someone after every show, and they were like, "Dude, I like that one song. That song was cool." And even to this day, I get little emails. Sometimes I get DMs from different people like, "Yo, I was hip on your music from from a friend who posted your music on their social media, and I really like your stuff, man. Your stuff is cool. I don't know much about God and stuff, but your songs are really dope." So I was like, "That's cool." And it's just funny though, but as a community, we bash on Christian rappers. We bash on Christian artists, like, but the world won't. W- If we can't keep talking about how bad their music is and not support our music, you know, um, let people know that they're out there, you know, uh, let them know, like, oh, I'm trying to think of something. John Keith got a new record. It's pretty dope. No big deal. Got a new record. It's pretty dope. I thought to myself, what if there was a faith based company that mimicked Disney on being the ear to the street in Christian values, not just Christian values, but like artists who are trying to get out there, um, projects or shows. Like Disney is really focused on Disney products, so they won't do that to everybody else. But that's what Heritage Park was meant to be. Like one of the things I wanted to do is I wanted to have a plethora of different people that I can tell the crowds, like, "Yo, this is a good dude that's coming out. Listen to this guy's album. Oh, here's a new album by John Keith." That's why we have HP Radio. Like people don't know this. We have an HP Radio. Everything is on our website, heritageparkprod.com. And just go down there and you can see all kinds of stuff that we have there for people. But we have a radio station. We have an internet radio you can listen to anywhere all the time. It's 24 hours in Christian music, 24 hours. And it's not worship. Like, and I'm not bashing worship, but worship is easy to find. You can find worship anywhere. YouTube, they got playlists like for days. But people we listen to regular radio to find new music. We don't have that in Christian music. We don't even have an oldie station. So I kind of mix some oldies in there. So some oldies and some new stuff going on. But heritageparkprod.com, we have a Christian radio station. We have HP radio on that website. You click it and it takes you to a radio station. It even has a request line where you can request songs. So it has every artist that's in the playlist for that month. And you can request songs and it shows up in the playlist. It's very functional. It's very functional. I want to support more pastors on HPTV every Saturday. Excuse me, every Sunday morning. HPTV. I share Calvary Church in Irving, Texas, with Pastor Ben Daly, his services, because he got a good word, and we also have some from other pastors too. But he has his own channel on HPTV. Like my goal is to become the community that the church needs to be, right? Um, we're in a couple of weeks over here at the Hope Recovery Center, which is in Corona. I will be hosting what is called a Gospel Circle, and it'll be like a Wednesday afternoon type vibe where it'll be me be holding Bible studies. It's going to be called the Gospel Circle, and I think it starts not the 28th, which is next Wednesday, but the Wednesday after that, which is I think it's the 4th of October or something like that, 5th or something like that. So it'll be that Wednesday here, and then we're also hosting uh, open mic night here on a Saturday night. At Hope. So there's going to be opportunities to build community. I'm tired. I'm frustrated and I'm tired about people complaining and not doing anything to make the change. I'm not trying to make things great. I'm not trying to make people rich. I'm just tired of people making excuses. I'm tired of people blaming everybody else out there and not doing their thing. And there's with that being said, there's I'm going to be very vulnerable with you. With all that's going on, it's made some things in my heart that I have to challenge. Right? I'm looking at my video right now, and I'm like, wow, I've let myself go in some areas, and I have. I've gotten very fluffy. I was losing weight. I was doing well. I was a health coach. I also had a business that went with Heritage Park called Heritage Health, and I was helping people get healthy along with me getting healthy, and it was doing well for a minute. And then, sometimes you just hit a wall. I'm just gonna be real. You hit a wall, and then that wall is made out of cookies. The wall is made out of Lay's potato chips and Little Caesars pizza. I ate my way out of my situation. So now I'm looking at myself and I have plans. I have a couple shows in October that I don't want to be rounding, and so I've been doing my stuff. I've been back on my 5-and-1. I've been back into the water. I've been back into the gym to kill this weight, man. But we need community to make that happen. We need community. We need to build um friendships, brotherhood, sisterhood. Like, where's the community that the church is lacking? Because I think what we've misunderstood about the church is that we thought of the church, and many people do. Many people think of a church as a place where you go and somebody preaches to you, and that's part of it, right? We do get fed, spiritually fed the word, but community is probably just as important, if not more. There's times where I've been looking for. There's times where um the dang wall is everywhere. Yeah, it is, KJ. There's times where I there's times where people like there's moments when I've been looking for a church to join, and there was times in my life where I was looking for a church before I started playing churches. I was looking for churches to join, and I would hear the message, and I'm like, ugh. And honestly, at the end of the day, I realized what I was looking for. I wasn't looking for good preaching. I was looking for community. I was looking for people who are good friends. I was looking for people to be lifelong friends. Um, and it's hard to find that. If you're really honest with yourself, it's hard to find lifelong friends, friends that you can just be yourself around, friends that you can grow with. Your kids can grow with their kids. It's that stuff don't happen no more. I remember being a child, and I remember the Calderons and the Hernandezes, and every big event. I remember there was families that would come to our house and we'd eat after church, or going to BC Cafe and eat with the Calderons, we were either going to the Calderons' house or that they were coming to our house. And it was the same families that were coming to my mom's house. It was the Calderons and the Hernandezes, the Duengas, and sometimes the Hamiltons and and the Mesas, right? And we'd hang out. We had a pool and a basketball court in the backyard, and all the kids was the same age, except for me. I was kind of like older than everybody, and but we was having fun. Our kids grew up with each other, and some I don't know what happened, but parents, adults do some weird stuff, and we hold some weird we just hold some weird things against each other. You know, like, it's weird. I don't understand it, but it breaks community. Sometimes we break community for the stupidest things instead of doing the hard work and say, you know what, here's somebody who's challenging me in this area of my life, and I'm glad I'm being challenged in this area because this is something that I desire. This is something that I want to be different in. This is something that I want to be better in this area. And so I need people to challenge me. And that's what community does. Community challenges you. We we can't live like most people are living nowadays. Like I'm just telling you right now, the way that people are living life today, it I hear people's complaining and I hear people's griping of what's going on in their life, and I'm just like, either it's somebody else's fault or somebody doesn't appreciate them, or you know what, bro, that kind of theory is not going to make you very far. But if we have the right communities involved, and if the church did its job as a community, I think we'd be unstoppable. I think we'd just be unstoppable. Um, there's a company called Daily Wire, and Daily Wire, I think they're based in Texas or something like that. But they're a film they're producing their own film, but they're because on the woke side you have to be you know vaccinated to be on set and all these other things. You got to say the same things that the left is saying to be a part of it. And there's people who are just not taking it. Hollywood isn't. There's people in Hollywood who are not taking it anymore. Can you imagine if that was faith based? Can you imagine if we had a community like Disney that was creating content for the believer that wasn't goofy? Maybe so much, and not even talking about God all the time. Maybe we have a cartoon that's like a superhero cartoon that's not about it was listen, I there's nothing against Bible Man, right? There's absolutely nothing against Bible Man, but sometimes I just want to watch Spider-Man. Like I just want to watch it. So sometimes it's in this sense is just as good. Good family fun is just as good. And can you imagine what the community would look like? Can you imagine what like jobs we would have, be able to help people in our own community? If we had the Chosen Angel Studios, man, the jobs that they're being able to give to people that couldn't find work, but they could find work working on an atmosphere. And I don't know how their atmosphere is, but I can tell you right now, the guy who's the head of the Angel Studios, has got a good heart. He's got a really good heart, and now they've raised money to do these crazy good cool projects. And can you imagine now working for Angel Studios, working for Heritage Park, working for a company that cares for you, that values you, values your time, values your attention, values your efforts, values your mental state, your well-being. That's I'm just letting you in my little world. That's something that I passionately dream about here at Heritage Park daily. I want to help people um, get out of the world that they hate so much. Because let's be honest, man, the world is not doing anything for us, right? It's just getting worse, and it's getting sloppy, and it's getting ugly. It's getting moronic. It's and it's not going. And listen, I don't think it's going to change. I don't think that it's going to get better. Um, I think it's going to get worse. I think and it's going to, right? And I think people have spent too much energy trying to make it better when it's not. But God has given us a gift, and that gift is each other. And the church has never been about a building, but we've made it about a building. The church has always been about community. It's always been about people. God has always been, and if we support each other in the community, wow, can you imagine what we'd be able to do? Excuse me, I burped while I was talking. I hope you didn't hear that. There's people who spend millions of dollars investing in churches, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing, because our churches need money, but our churches use that money to. This is just my opinion. I could be wrong, but I think the church spends too much money on narcissistic value, right? They spend too much money to make themselves look better than they did last Sunday, right? Now listen, I appreciate the dope walls, right? I do. I really do. I appreciate the fancy screens. I do. I really enjoy it. I really enjoy the nice screens, the highest technology. I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's pretty Disney based. So I'm looking at it like, yeah, that's pretty dope. I appreciate the lights. I've always joked with my church. I've always said to them, I was like, and they got the nice lights. But don't get me wrong, if we had the money, I'd buy the nice lights too. Because they would make me look better. They make us look better. That's what lights do. Like that's what lights do. But at the same time, if we didn't spend it on narcissistic value and use the money to help the community and took on the community, like if we took the money and created schools, like we create the schools. Can you imagine if the church took the millions of dollars and they created the bank? They create their own bank? Oh man. Come on now. And they were able to get out their own loans so the members of their church can buy houses and own property? Co- Am I onto something? Like, can you imagine? Just here, I always thought about this when I was younger. I don't know why I was thinking this at 17, 16, 17, but I always thought to myself, it's not a lot of money to start a bank. Why don't the church just start a bank? Then they can set the loans up and keep people out of debt by giving them loans that they can qualify for. Um, he said, "Yes, I am. Yes, uh, yeah, maybe I am. Who knows, KJ?" But I was 17. I was like, but on top of that, can you imagine? Here's a business thought that I had one time for a church. Everybody in California, let's just talk California, right? Everybody in California has to have auto insurance, right? Everybody in California has to have auto insurance. It's illegal to drive without auto insurance, right? Auto insurance is expensive, right? Now, I've spent thousands of dollars, thousands of dollars on auto insurance. Um, and I've been doing it, God knows how long, right? Since I've been driving, pretty much been paying for auto insurance. Now, with my auto insurance, there's all these different things coming. Now, how many times and you're watching this and you've probably spent thousands of dollars. Maybe we can go five figures. I think the average California spends about five figures on auto insurance. You know, in the length of their life in California. How many car accidents have you been in where you needed that insurance? I me um I've actually never ever used my deductible ever in all the years I've drive. I've never used my deductible. Never, not once have I been in an accident where it was my fault and my insurance had to pay a check out. Never. I've never had to do that. Um, I've been in one car accident in California but it was their fault, so their insurance actually paid out. My insurance was like, when I my insurance literally told me we're not involved in this and hung up on me, and they didn't pay anything. Um, so I thought to myself, man, can you imagine if a church had the insurance company? If you had 30 members paying the premium on their policies to the church could actually carry that money to the deductible for or whatever they would need for the car accident, and the church would take care of the people's needs. Now listen, I, people may think that I'm going too far with this thinking. Like, just think about that. That's an infrastructure. Can you imagine if the church was run like an infrastructure to help people in need, to help people, maybe help people get by? Like Allstate does this crazy thing that if you don't get into a car accident, they take away a month of your premium. You have to pay for them. Can you imagine if the church was like, dude, you haven't had an accident in 10 years? We're gonna cover you for this year. Or whatever. I don't know. It's got to be beneficial for the person, and it doesn't put the church in the hole. But I'm just saying, like, can you imagine a church that was really built for community, for the people, that thought about the people, wanted to do things for the people? Well, that would be crazy. That'd be great. That's something that I felt like I feel like the government is overreaching and has overstepped their boundaries because the church didn't do their part, and not just preaching, because we keep relying on the church to do the preaching. The church can do a lot more than just preach. Amen. I'm preaching on the Epic Thoughts episode. I'm not trying to preach on Epic Thoughts, but the church can do a lot more than just preach. They could create infrastructure that the people can feel safe in. And the Bible talks about in the book of Acts that the church was responsible for the widows and the orphans. The church was responsible for the sick. The church was responsible for the people to get education. The church was responsible to help families come together. The church was responsible. The church had a responsibility to uphold all the festivals. That was the church. That was the church's responsibility. So then we get to the point now where we're just all about preaching, and we only preach to the people who get the tithes, and we only come on Sundays, and we have to have the lights, and we have to have the cameras, and we have to have all this stuff in place so we can be larger so people can see us. So all the money is spent on narcissistic things. We're not taking care of the widows. We're not taking care of the orphans. We're not taking care of the homeless. We're not taking care of the hungry. We're not taking care of the broken. We're not taking care of the hurt. We say that we are, but we do it from the pulpit. There's got to be a lot more work than just the pulpit work if we're really going to help people. Like, people need jobs. People need mental health help. That's an everyday thing. There's college kids who need purpose. Maybe KJ, that's what hope is supposed to be. Maybe that's what Heritage Park and Hope connected together is supposed to bring to the table. Um, Dang, maybe that's what it is. I don't. I I feel like there's community that's missing in the body, and I'm not. I've learned throughout the years that I am a pastor by trade. I am a pastor by by paper. I am ordained, but I realize I'm more of an apostle. I have more of an apostolic heart. I love to build things for to help the people succeed, and that's what I think we need to be really focused on. But think about that now. Um, instead of talking about the other side and what the other film make companies are doing and what this person is doing, what that person is doing, vote with your dollars, with your support. Click and share things. Let's stop talking about negative stuff online, and let's talk about people and ministries and people who are doing something, right? Share this podcast. Share this podcast. Let other people know that there's stuff out here for people. You know, um, I have a heart, and I have this weird belief. Um, I have this weird belief that God's going to do something great, and it's going to be funny because we're going to look back on this episode of Epic Thoughts and laugh. We're gonna be like, remember that epic thoughts that I know Daniel is. Daniel's gonna be like, remember that epic thoughts you talked about? And I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's coming to pass. Um, but yes, thank you for supporting Heritage Park and now Hope. Hope is part of the Heritage Park family. Um, hmm, that's a good point, KJ. Most churches just don't know where priority belongs. They don't. Um, Amen, Daniel. Amen. Uh, like I said before, there's so many things going on. In about 2 weeks from tomorrow, I'll probably announce it, and you'll probably see it on social media. I'm going to do what's called the Gospel Circle. I'm going to share my heart, and I'm going to give you like deep revelation that God has put in my heart in the scriptures about the gospel. That's going to be starting here at Hope in 2 weeks from tomorrow. It's going to be an afternoon type event, so it will be an afternoon, and everyone's invited. Everyone's welcome. But I will tell you. Um, if you this what I'm going to share in a couple of weeks is going to be unnerving to someone who's been going to church for a long time and they think they got the answers. It's going to be unnerving. So I'm just going to let you know that I'm going to share it. God's put it on my heart to put it out there. So that will be in 2 weeks. And then we also are having a open mic night in a couple of weeks here. Also, I hope that'll be on the Saturday night. And I'll give more information as time goes on. If you want to support Heritage Park, like there's all kind of ministries out there. There's Angel Studios. You can look that up online. It's just like they're spoken, Angel Studios. If you want to support Heritage Park Productions, that's the website, Heritage Park Productions. There are several ways you can support us. And I'm just going to, because I never really talked about how you can support Hope/Heritage Park. Now Heritage Park is now Hope is now part of the Heritage Park family. There's many ways you can support Heritage Park. One is there's ways that you can give a monthly gift to Hope. if you wanted to go to Hope, or you can give to Heritage Park. People have sowed seed. The people are tithing currently to keep Hope going and Heritage Park to the next level. Another way you can give to Heritage Park is you can buy some of the clothing on our store. We have a store also on Heritage Park Production. We have a clothing line. We have clothes and all kinds of things that you can purchase, and that all the dollars, all the money from that company, from that goes to helping Heritage Park, and you get to express some cool little statements, some cool T-shirts. I should probably rock one, and I probably will do one very soon. But there's women's clothes, men's clothes, kids clothes. There's also my book is available. That's another way you can support by buying my book. The Hidden Agenda, which is also available on Heritage Park, prod.com. Um, and there's also ways to give on that site if you want to give directly to Heritage Park. But I'm asking for support. If you're looking for a place to support and you're looking for your money to go, Heritage Park is a good solid ground to sow your seed. But yeah, I normally never do that. I just felt like I needed to do that right there. So thank you for supporting Heritage Park in all the years, and Heritage Grace Church and Heritage Park HP Radio and HPTV. And now that we've added Hope to our family, I now I see God putting things together there that is just amazingly going to do some great things. And I just really, really, really awesomely thank you all for supporting HP through the years. It's just been amazing. We're going to keep on going. We're going to keep on doing our thing. But we thank you all for everything you've done. On that note, I think I'm going to leave. I think I've run out of things to talk about. I think I'm done. Um, also, you can watch HP. Yes. Thank you. My computer's reminding me. You can also watch this and more HP content on our HPTV channels, available on all Roku and Fire TVs. And now we have an app for Apple and Android. We have an app for that. So you can watch this stuff and watch Superficially Deep, other films. I have my morning show called But First Coffee, which I had to get started again pretty soon. Archive, we have more shows, and then we're doing a new show. We're going to start filming on a new show in October/November. So we got a lot of stuff going on here at Heritage Park / now Hope Studios. So with that being said, I hope you have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much for your patience. Thank you for watching Epic Thoughts and encouraging me to continue to keep doing this, because this is something I'm happy that you guys are online with me to watch this and keep encouraging me. So I'll talk to you guys next week. Have a blessed day. Have a great week. God bless you. Love you.